What's happening, people? What's going on, man? What is going on? Man, it has been a week. Well, I consider it be my week. But your boy haven't been feeling that good. I was going to come on Friday and go over some things about this sad ass healthcare system. But I just could not. I mean, literally, when I say I did not have the energy, I literally did not have. When your body, or my body, hey, good evening, John. How we doing, John? But when my body shuts down, that's because my kidneys are not working, and I'm waiting for a kidney, right? But anyway, I'll get into that in a second. I just want to see John. I see John is on tonight. Thank you, John. Appreciate you, man, for hanging out with me. John is one of those dudes that always call me up and say, Rev, I got this, I got that. Do you need this? Do you need that? He called just to say, how you doing? How you doing? So I appreciate you, John, man. Thank you. It's people like John and them that makes me realize that, hell, we really have good people on this earth, because this earth was supposed to be ruled by, that one that was kicked out of heaven. And everybody on this side of earth was supposed to be really, really bad. But John is one of those people that make me know that that's just not true. We got some. John is one of them people that I look at and I say, racism. I'm not going to sit there and say it doesn't exist, but John is one of those people that remind me of those abolitionists, those ones that rode on the bus, the ones that literally died for people who look like me. That if I had a group of Johns, I wouldn't worry about shit. Because see, one of the things that I don't think I would like to one day. I'm not saying I want, because I love who I am. Don't get me wrong. Don't ever get me wrong. I even though I go through hell, and it is honestly pressure. It is. White people don't realize that, because you can wake up in a world that you don't have to worry about nothing. Like I told you before, when I was growing up, when I was 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years old, we could not, in Memphis, Tennessee, on Garnett Road in Shelby County, we could not walk on the road without being what we call back in the day woke. Even though y'all took that word, vilified it to every syllable of it. But if we left the house to go to Johnson's store, he used to be this white man. He owned this old store. Right? You go way back in the day where it looked almost like a house, but it was tore down, and we go up there with penny candy. My uncle would give us all $1. Now, I don't ever know if we got a full 100 pieces of candy or not. If I had to guess today, I would say we did not. We gave him $1 and he probably gave us 50 pieces of candy. And as kids, we were just happy. But the point that I'm making in this here whole thing is this. In order for us to go from our house to that store, we had to be vigilant, literally vigilant. Because the way it worked is, if the truck, and who drove trucks back in those days? White men. If the trucks stopped, we were to run into the cornfield. True story, man. Memphis, Tennessee. when the trucks are coming down the road, we are to go and walk in the ditch because they try to run us off the road. Black kids walking on the road. That happened, people. That happened. But then we also had white folks who lived right across the street from us who had white kids. That family would get Hostess pies delivered to them from when the Hostess Twinkies and stuff like that, apple pies, banana pie, all this stuff. That's why I fell in love with those snow cones. You ever seen those snow cone looking cake with the coconut on it, and then you can take the topping of it and you can pull it forever? That's how I fell in love with those things from this family across the street. They would come, white family. She would bring a basket full of these damn things. See, we had more white folks like John, white folks like my neighbor who I grew up with in the Republican Party. You have more black Republicans. Just saying. That's where I was going with that. But I started this for this reason, because I was called out. Okay? I was called out, and because I don't think that the person who called me out truly understood what I was saying. So on Monday, right? I did a live. And on that live, I was talking about y'all's new boy. You know who your new boy is, Nick Fuentes. And so he hits me up. Rev, why in the world would you ever promote Nick Fuentes? I was not promoting Nick. There was not one part of me that said that I'm promoting Nick Fuentes. What I said was, let me make sure that we're all on the same page. I said that my grandfather would always say that it's better to know where the snakes are in the tall grass than not to know. John said that's bullshit and no one should ever live like that. Ever. We are a race, no matter who. My glasses are bad, huh? Under God. Yeah, no, Nick. No, John. Trust me when I say this, brother. I know that. But hold on, John. Let me say this here too. And I know the ongoing thing, and I know I'm gonna put it. Let me say this. I know what racism is, and I know what racists are. Do not get me wrong. But then I'm gonna say this here. And it's going to piss a lot of people off, and that's fine. And they're going to sit there and say, well, you're saying that for your base. No, I'm saying it because this is how I feel. Now, if you feel something different, that's fine. That's cool. The thing about it, I don't ever go on anyone's page and tell them how to feel or what to think. I get that from my side. But believe me, John, it's both sides, brother. So let me say that. I don't ever want to get on here and try to act like I'm talking about one race. Because I'm not. I'm not. Okay, see what I'm saying? That's why I'm late tonight, because I didn't think I had water down here, and I get down here and there's no water, and then I had to run back upstairs. But let me do this here real quick. Thank you for your comment, John. Appreciate you, man. But I was not giving Nick Fuentes any pub at all. Nick Fuentes is an admitted racist. He says it. He says it. Don't come at me talking about, well, I took him out of context. I didn't take him out of context. I'm saying look, Friday, things were so bad. I was so sick on Friday that I slept. I got up for a couple hours. I went to sleep. And then I just got to the point, I don't know if you ever got to the point where you just can't go to sleep anymore because you've slept so much. So I started listening to this your new hero, Nick Fuentes. And Nick said it himself, that he is a racist. That's what he said. That's what's come out of his mouth. So don't sit there and be like, well, Rev's taking Nick out of context. No, I did not. I heard what he said. You may not want to hear it, and you may not want to believe what he said, but I know what I heard. I know exactly what I heard. So I was talking about how white people don't need your Brandon Tatums anymore. They don't need the Candace Owens anymore. They don't need the C.J. Pearson anymore. They don't need the Rob Smiths anymore. They don't need any of these. Jeffrey Meads. They don't need the Jeffrey Meads anymore. They don't need any of these coons who would beat down on black people to satisfy white people needs. That's exactly what was going on. You can hate me for what I'm saying if you want, but prove me wrong. I'll wait. No, I'll wait. Prove me wrong. That's exactly what was going on. And that's what I was saying was, why are Brandon Tatum? Brandon is doing everything. Oh, what is this? On a private note, if you need anything, please let me know. Oh, I got you, John. Oh, John, I know if John's funny. John texts me. I know if I need something, bro, I can hit you up. I know that. There's no, like I said. Anyway, let me finish this, John, and then we're gonna get into that. But I appreciate you. I went and had pizza with anyway. So I was curious of why. I'm sitting there going, why in the world would Candace Owens turn her back on white people and start talking like this? And then I saw a video of Brandon Tatum, officer. Y'all hear? No, stop it. He's your hero. Your hero, Officer Brandon Tatum. I watched a video of him actually defending black people. And I'm like, something is wrong. It is snowing. It is sleeting, and they are in hell right now on snowmobiles. Something's got to be wrong. What the hell what is going on? I could not figure it out for the world of me. I don't know if you guys ever watched this cat. His name is Amazing Lucas. You ever watch his stuff on YouTube? I just found this cat. Watch. His name is Amazing Lucas. I don't know if you ever watched him, but if you have never watched him, you need to go watch Amazing Lucas. Seriously. His name is Amazing Lucas. Go watch his videos. I found him just the other day. So I'm sitting here going to myself after watching Nick Fuentes. I get it now. White folks don't need Candace Owens anymore. White folks don't need Brandon Tatum anymore. White folks don't need Jason Whitlock or Marcellus Wiley. Y'all don't need those people anymore. Y'all, they did their job for you. They were in a space for you. So when you needed to feel good, right? It's like here in Minnesota, we have this website called Crime Watch. I call it a porn site. No, I do. I like it. I use which if Crime Watch was used for the reason I use it by everybody, and nobody gave the hateful, racist comments on it, that would be top notch. That will be a top notch website. The problem is Shelley Lawson, however you say her last name, love for the racists to show up. So I call it a porn site. That's where white people go to get off. That's what I said, and I will always stand by it. She got mad at me. Pissed. She was pissed at me. So that website is the same thing as Candace Owens, except she's a white woman. Go on the website. Go look. Go to Crime Watch. Go read some of the. No, don't take my word for it. Go read some of the comments, especially when she posts about black people, which that's usually what she posts about, because that gets her the most views. Don't take my word for it. Go look for yourself. Go look at the most views on is when she talk about Somalis, when she talk about black people. And every now and then, if she posts on there about a Mexican. But black and Somalis, boy, she'll get traffic like you would not believe. That's why I call it a porn site. But Nick is doing because Nick. Look. Go. Hold on. I'm not pushing Nick Fuentes. That's not what I'm doing. I'm like, how can I say this, but not put it in a way like I'm going, Nick is this and he's all of this here and he's rising to the top, and that's not what I'm doing. I'm making a point, going, the black so-called Republican influencer, they're not needed anymore. They are just not. And Candace saw that firsthand. Candace is like, I got to get out of this because they're not going to need me anymore. And sure enough, Candace is not needed anymore. Officer Tatum, CJ, all of them, Rod Smith, all of them. Hell, Rod Smith got chased out of a bar when they called him gay and gay sex. He was one of your top dogs. But once Nick Fuentes, that's who Nick Fuentes got on him. Nick Fuentes sent his groupers at Rob. Go look for yourself. I'm not telling you something that you can't go look up. Nick Fuentes, Rob Smith grouper. And they had Rod Smith cornered in a bar, the Nick Fuentes group. And that's when Rob ran to CNN and all that crying. Oh, I'm a Republican and I quit the Republican Party. Those are facts. I'm just throwing facts out. You can be mad. I mean, people get upset. We don't like facts, Rev. You're not supposed to be doing that. Well, if you've been following me long enough, you know I'm going to tell you the truth. But I've been checking this Nick Fuentes out. And again, I'm not pushing for Nick. I'm not on Nick's level at all. I just needed an answer for the reason why white people are walking away from these so-called black influencers who for years because y'all made, yes you did, white people, yes you did, you made Candace Owens rich, yes you did. Don't sit there and try to act like you didn't. You made Officer Brandon Tatum, very comfortable with a big bank account. Yes you did. Yes you did. You can't sit there and go, oh, no, he didn't. You're liars. You're a flat liar. Yeah, you did. Because they told you Black Lives Matter wasn't about shit. They told you that there is no racism in America. They told you that, what was that Albury kid that was just looking at a house? They told you that kid was flat out guilty and those people should have shot and killed him. Yes, they did. Both of them told you that. Say they didn't. Go ahead. Say they didn't. Because you know you can't, because you'll be lying. They told you George Floyd was the worst thing that ever happened on the face of the earth. They told you Michael Brown was this here. They told you that kid down in Florida was all this. Sandra Bland was this and that. They told you that. And y'all was happy with it. And because they told you that, y'all rewarded them very handsomely. But y'all don't need them anymore. Because you got Nick. Because Nick's a straight up racist. Nick's a straight up say, I don't want to be around black people. Nick said, I don't like black people. Nick said black people shouldn't exist. We should ship them all away. Nick talk about Jews like you wouldn't believe. Nick is that new drug of choice. He's on a rise. And then when Tucker Carlson platformed this guy, sky's the limit. Tell me I'm wrong. So the other night was not a thumbs up to Nick Fuentes at all. So do not come at me talking about I was platforming Nick or I was giving Nick pub. That's not what that was about. I asked the question why white folks had turned away from these black so-called influencers. And I've come down with the answer to that. Nick Fuentes is the new guy on the block. Because Nick is saying everything that they need to hear and everything they want to say, and they don't have the hood on. And so what did I do? Like I always do. I go through, I hit on Nick's page, and I look at because you can go on there and you can see people who follow me and who follow Nick. True story, man. Y'all can say what you want. You can say, oh, well, Rev, no. Be like Nick, people. Be like Nick. Stop it. Stop hiding. Just come straight out. That's why I like Nick. I like this kid. I do. I like it when white people say, you know what, Rev? Kiss my behind. We can have a conversation. I don't mind having a conversation with people. But you know what? The conversations I don't like is the ones that lie to me. That know in their heart, if I was on a rainy road, you would not pick me up. But you would tell me you would. See, Nick Fuentes would be like, I'm not picking your Negro ass up. I don't even want to be around you. I don't care about you. I don't care about your people. I don't care about your kind. I don't care if you're coming or if you're going. I don't care what day you wake up, the day you go to sleep. That's Nick. And black folks have been asking for that for I don't know how long. Just be honest, people. Just be honest. I got a dude out in Buffalo. His name is Dusty. Call themselves a right-wing influence. I keep telling Dusty, if Dusty was to just be, because Dusty's a racist. No, I know look. I'm from the South. And I know these northern racists who try to hide. Dusty, y'all know who Dusty is, right? He's out of Buffalo. He's a right-wing influencer and all this here. Dusty's racist. Period, point blank. Period. And I can't wait till Dusty finally goes, yeah, Rev, I don't like you. I don't like your color. I don't know. And I'll be like, thank you, Dusty. Appreciate it. People, just tell the truth. That's all you have to do is tell the truth. We saw what you did with Candace. The only reason you love Candace is because Candace Owens was hated on her own kind. You made this woman rich. Come on. There's a woman right here in Minnesota, down in Rochester. She made a mistake, called a Somalian kid nigga with the R. Y'all made this woman rich. You made her rich. Why? All because she called her. So that's why I keep saying, just tell the damn truth. Be honest with us and be honest with yourselves. Just come straight out, Rev. Hey, dude, I watch your stuff. I talk to you, but I don't really like you. And I'll be like, cool. I'm not going to down you. It's the ones that I have to go on to other people's page, and I do. It's ones that I got to go on to other people's page to find out just how racist they are. Those are the ones that disappoint me. Just come on here and go, Rev, look, dude, I'm it. I am Nick Fuentes. I know, I feel the way Nick does. I understand Nick. I follow Nick. I'm not going to hate you. I'm not going to put you down. Only thing black people has ever asked for was the truth. If we had been talking about racist and racism long ago, we wouldn't be where we're at today. But because white people love to hide behind that. That's where we at. Black people going, let's talk about it. White people are like, I don't want to talk about that. Because you don't want us to know how you really feel. So I'm saying it now. Just tell us how you really feel. Let's get it. Let's get this over with. You understand? Let's get it over with. Because maybe we can move on now. Maybe that's what it's going to take for America to finally move on. For white people just to go straight up. Nigga. And we can be done with it. But never going to happen. Y'all do it sneaky. Right? You do it sneaky. You use websites. You use other people to voice out what you have inside. No, you do. You do. So, again, I was not in no way, shape, or form. No, I was not. So, your call out of me saying what you said about me, brother, is just not true. It wasn't true. I had a thought, and I was putting that thought out there. It's what I was doing, and you took that thought that I put out there, and you turned it into that I was behind or saying Nick was this and Nick was that. I have never said that. I said I like Nick because Nick has come to the forefront to finally say, I'm racist. I don't like this and I don't like that. Hopefully the white people who follow Nick follow his suit and start saying, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And hopefully that can open a door that we can finally start talking about race. So we can finally start saying, you know what? You got every right to say, as a white person, if you don't like me, I don't like you. As a black person, if you don't like me, I don't like you. And hopefully we can get that out, and then we can all move forward. But as long as we sit back and harbor hatred towards people of color, And then the only way you can get your frustration and, the black fatigue and all that stuff out is have people like a Nick Fuentes speak for you. Where before you had black people, Candace Owens, Brandon Tatum's speaking for you. But you don't need them anymore because you got Nick. And Nick's not going to be the only one. Because somebody else, another white person is going to be like, you know what? Hell, Nick is getting all this here pub. Nick is making all this here money. I better come out and say my true feelings too. Hell, I wish there'd be more white people coming out and saying their true feelings. And more black people coming out saying their true feelings. And maybe, again, I don't know. Maybe that'll get us in a room talking and everybody can just sit there and go, I hate you, 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 and I hate you. And by the time everybody get that I hate you feeling out, maybe that'll turn into something. I don't know. But I know right now, Nick Fuentes is the new cat on the block. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Y'all getting rid of your old favorites for Nick Fuentes. All right? So I know I had to clear that up, man. Because like I said, you going to call me out? Here, hold on, man. Hold on. That's not what I was saying. And I think that's not what I was saying. But you just wanted me to give you some pub. I didn't say your name, and I wasn't going to say your name. I didn't say your name, and I wasn't going to say your name. But it is what it is. John says like this, Reb. If they're scumbags, they scumbags no matter what. True. I mean, and that's on both sides, brother. I'm not here. Look. I'm not here just calling one side of scumbags out, saying one side of scumbags need to fess up to things that they say and the way they treat people. But they are out there. I just like to know who they are instead of hiding behind these little emojis. But we're a couple of days off of the election of mayor and everything else that's around Minnesota who had an election. And I just think it's pretty funny how the socialists of Minnesota are still out here looking for reasons why. I mean, I told y'all, what did I tell you? Did I not tell y'all that they were going to use racism? Did I not tell you that? When all else failed, when they didn't have nothing else, when they used cheating, well, if this person had got this many votes, if this person had got that many votes, when all else failed, what did they say? What have they been saying? I reposted somebody saying, oh, well, look at all the racism and the bigotry and all of this type of stuff that went along with Fry's side of the. Really? So another Somalian saying some of the things that they said about Omar Fattah, that's not racist. But if a white person said what they said about Omar, that's racist. Really? And black people said things about Fattah. So you're telling me those things that black people said was not racist? Just as long if a white person said the same thing that a black person said or a Somali person said about Fattah, we're going to call that racist. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Because like I said, if we're going to play the race card, let us all in on the way how we're going to play this. And these socialists are twisting themselves in knots trying to find a way to play the race card when it comes to Mayor Fry and Mayor Fry supporters. And they even broke out and started saying that they were Republicans. You seen that? How they called, so the socialists of the Socialist Party called Mayor Fry's people who backed him, called them Republicans. That's why I keep telling y'all that name Republican in Hennepin County It is the worst thing you can call somebody. It is the worst thing you can call somebody is a Republican. But they tried to label Fry's people as Republicans. This is how far the socialist group has gone, right? I told you it was going to happen because they don't have anything else. The people of Minneapolis said, we don't want socialism. And the socialism people were like, well, we want to cram it down your throat just like they crammed everything else down our throat, correctly? And people are like, nope, we're not taking it. Just like they tried to cram the defund the police down everybody's throat. That was the socialists of Minneapolis. But see, here's the deal. Back then, we didn't really know what to call these people. We just called them agitators. That's what we would call them. They were agitators. They were activists. And then this year is they finally came out of the closet and started going, nope, we're socialists. That's who we are. So we know who they are now. And it's awesome that we can pick them off this city council one by one. Jason Chavez, we are going for him. We've got 2 years to come up with somebody that can run against him, and we can get the people behind him, and we can get Jason off that board, off that city council. Jason Chavez is the biggest problem. When you want to know the problem with that city council, all of them are problems. But Jason Chavez is the biggest problem on that city council. We've got to find a way to get Jason Chavez off of that city council. He is the worst ever. The worst ever. He's a socialist. He's the worst type of socialist there is. So these socialists are running around now looking for anything to sit there and try to act like that's why they lost. They lost because nobody believed into the radical mindset, the ideas that they had. That's why they lost. They lost because they're foolish. They lost because they really don't have really any plan other than some typed up crap. That's why they lost. And they can't come to grips with that. They lost because of fools like a Jason Chavez. That's why they lost. Let's be real here. They lost because, once again, the activists reared their ugly head when they began to fight back. That's why. When they start saying, well, ICE don't have no right to be in Minneapolis. ICE got I'll say it again. When ICE come into Minneapolis, bring the bear. If y'all don't know what the bear is, look it up. The bear is one of the biggest utility vehicles that the Minneapolis Police Department, when the bear comes down the road, you get out of the way. Ain't nobody going to be laying in front of it. Ain't nobody going to be pushing on the front of it. They ain't going to be throwing garbage cans in front of it. When ICE comes into Minneapolis, bring the bear. Bring it. Bring it. Well, Rev, you're not supposed to think like that. You're a man of God. You're supposed to be on the side of the poor, the hungry. I am. I feed the poor. I feed the hungry. I feed all that you say. I feed the oppressed. I feed the downtrodden. All of them. I feed the ones who are down on their last bottoms. All of them. But you know what I will not put up with? I will not put up with Minneapolis and this state of Minnesota literally hauling people in on buses when we can't take care of the ones that we got now. I will not put up with it. I believe that we had, what he said, had 77% of the vote. I know, Chaz. Chaz says Jason Chavez had, I know that. We got 2 years, Chaz, 2 years to get somebody out in front of this knucklehead. So therefore, he won't have 77% of the vote. Some of the people over there in his ward has lost their damn mind. He's had shootings over there. They've had break-ins over there. They have smashed car windows and everything. And this is what gets me about these white liberals. They are so guilty. The white liberal is so guilty. They will put up with their house being broken into. They will put up with their car being broken up into. They will put up with their kids being beat in school, with their kids being knocked upside the head, walking up and down the street, that their kids can't play in the front yard. These white liberals will leave they will leave their shops and everything in their community to go to a safe place to buy food, to buy clothes, to buy the things they need, and then drive back to the dangerous part of their community. This is how crazy and delusional these white liberals are. Y'all don't understand. If you ain't in the city and you ain't walking around dealing with these people, sitting out, you would never know the gymnastics that some of these white liberals go through just to be in that city. It is crazy. How are you going to have your windows knocked out 4 times in a row? 4 times that you've turned around and had to pay the premium on you, and the premium of your insurance goes up, but you stay there. This is the mindset of a white liberal. Y'all, these people, if y'all, like I said before, sometimes when I sit and I just sit there and I'm talking to some of these people, or I'm at some of these meetings and I'm sitting in the back and I'm listening to these people talk, and inside my head, I'm sitting here going, this is nuts. This is nutsy crazy. Right now, over in Bloomington, in Richfield, Bloomington-Richfield area, they're about to be taken over. They are, people. And you know, the white liberal ain't fighting. They not doing. I told y'all a while back, I went right there in Bloomington, right? At a park. They was having a meeting. I told y'all about this. They were sitting there crying, literally crying. This woman was crying, going, I don't know what to do. I don't want to sell my house. This house has been in my family for blah, blah, many years. Bawling. And she knows she's about to be taken over. Those are facts. I don't come over here and tell you nothing that I can't prove. Those are facts, people. So when I sit and I say, and they get mad at me because I say, when ICE comes into Minneapolis, bring the bear, and they get pissed at me, there's a reason I say that. There's a reason why I say that. Go on Lake and 31st. Go down 35, get off on Lake, and then make a left and look up under that bridge. Do this. I'm proving my point. Go to Lake Street off 35. Make a left. Go to 31st. Make a left on Stevens. And then I want you to look to your left look to your left or the right. Both sides are completely packed. Second, 55 and Cedar. I want you to get off on 55 and Cedar. I want you to make a left or a right, but go under the bridge. And then I want you to look at the people under that bridge also. I want you to drive down Lake Street. And I want you to look at the number of people who are just walking the streets, have no place to go. They don't look like us. We got so many people here to take care of, is what I'm telling people, that we cannot have any more getting off of a bus in Brooklyn Park, in Brooklyn Center. We can't have any more getting off a bus on Lake Street. We can't. We are full. Enough is enough. And again, like I always say, if y'all don't think this stuff is going to end up in the suburbs, you're out your mind. They just had city council meetings in Lakeville of a certain group of people are buying land in Lakeville. They already got land in Llano Lakes. Bloomington and Richfield is going to be the next cities to fall. So y'all can sit here and all you want and be like, oh, Rev is this and Rev is that. No, Rev is telling you the truth. I'm giving you the heads up before it gets to you. Because 99.9% of the time, what do? You wait, and then it pops you on side the head, and then you go, how did that get there? Well, I told you. You waited. You didn't fight. You didn't do anything. You didn't say anything. You didn't. You let it happen. You let it happen. So, I'm watching all this here other stuff go down. And if the gun caucus think that these two cities are going to be the only ones, because what they're going to try to do is these people, like I said, Democrats are smart. How much money do you have to be able to keep filing on these cities that decide that they're going to come up with these gun bans? Think about it for a second. These cities got more money together, alone, than that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep filing city after city after city after city after city. They got to run around and they're doing Donald Trump's. That's what Donald Trump do. Donald Trump just go throw crap, all types of crap in these here in these courts. Then the Democrats have to go chase it. That's what these Democrats are doing here in Minnesota when it comes to this gun ban thing. One after the other is going to keep doing that. See, my thought was this here, but didn't come to fruition, but I thought it. Instead of which you can do both. And my thought always with the gun caucus is you can do two things at once. But the gun caucus always, to me, it felt like to me they could only do one thing, and that's protect the white man and the white man's gun. Right? No. Seriously. I mean, like I said, I ain't got no reason to say anything that I can't back up and prove, because not one time did the gun owners caucus ever come in and say, hey, let's go into the black community and show that we care, and we could come up with some strategy or come up with something that's going to show that, we want everybody to keep guns. We also want black people to keep guns, and blah, 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 right? Now you got, watch this, you got a gun group who don't like guns coming into the black community pretty much, which I saw a couple days ago, talking about teaching black kids how to shoot guns. I mean, so they can fight to take away guns, and then they can fight to teach black kids how to shoot guns. And here's a gun owner caucus who should specialize in doing what? Gun safety, teaching people how to do, ain't never done anything like that. So for someone who, again, no matter what they say to me, I'm not banning nothing that I got. Never going to happen. Never going to happen. I'm looking at this thing going, how much money do you have, and can you keep up with these people filing all of these type of gun bills in courts? Because it takes money to go to court to fight things, correct? Which, to me, again, if we'd have been looking at this thing from a different angle, going, let's really talk about, let's really go to the Capitol to talk about guns, and where the true gun owners caucus, they ain't never really talked about gun violence. They ain't never really talked about where the true gun violence, as they call it, is. They've never talked about black kids shooting black kids with guns. They never talked about where are these guns coming from that these black kids are getting these guns. They never talked about the money. Where's the money coming from that these black kids can buy? They never done any of that. None of it. And I look at it and say, I'm kind of a part of the Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus. They ain't never come to me and say, Rev, let's look into this. Rev, this going on. Rev, let me ask you this question. Rev, ain't never done that. But now all of these here junctions and bills and bans are going around. When 2 years ago we could have a program in the black community that would help them fight what's going on here. There's another gun group out there. I forgot. I'm trying to think of Minnesota Guns or something that's done by the Door Brothers or something like that. That's a racist group right there. That's a racist group right there. And remember when I was talking about racism earlier? That's what, I'm not a part of them. But the thing I like about the Door Brothers, at least they tell you that they're racist. Their members tell you the truth. It's right there in black and white. They don't like the Door Boys. Door Boys, they ain't going in the black community to do anything in the black community. If they was smart, they would. Yes, sir. There is a bill right now. They voted, John, 7-0. St. Paul did to ban the AR. They're not going to be the only ones that's going to do this. They are not going to be the only ones that are about to do this. Everybody's been sitting back and waiting to see how things go with St. Paul. This is what everybody's been waiting for this shoe to fall, to see what happened. And they voted 7-0 to ban the AR-15 in the city of St. Paul. Mayor Fry in that group. And now that the socialists on the city council of Minneapolis John said, my firearms have never hunted, John, anyone. When has my firearm ever said to someone, if you don't step back, I will come out to hunt you? Many times, John. Many times. Many times I've had to go. My firearms has had to say that. But if my firearms by themselves have never, ever picked the lock on my safes, loaded themselves, got into my vehicle, drove down to First Avenue, and shot at someone. They have never done that ever before. Ever. But I have seen, John, some firearms that somehow, some way, they put this thing called a switch on the backside of them. John, I've seen these firearms that they take and they put these big barrels on them. I've seen, John, where they've had extended clips about that long on them. I've seen them with my own eyes. Now, those, John, those firearms tend to go off and shoot other people. Those firearms, John. But I have no reason to take and put an extended clip or a barrel on one of mine. Because I practice that if I can't do it in 2, something's wrong. Something's wrong. That's why I practice. I don't need 30. I don't need a barrel that holds 100. If I can't take care of the problem in 2, then somewhere during my practice, I messed up. I'm just saying. But yeah, St. Paul did it. I trust me, there's going to be a few more after that that's going to do this. They said, well, if we can't get the state to do it, the cities are going to do it. Inside that Hennepin County loop, 394, 494, 694, 394, right? 610, 252, 10 and 101. Inside that, that's what's going to be happening. There it is. But the way we stop that is we got to get some of these here so-called gun groups who are fighting for guns to recognize that if they put time in communities that actually have gun violence, that every single day somebody's getting shot and killed with a gun, that will look favorable on them. And people can't always get up to the Capitol and call them murderers, bloodthirsty, couldn't call them, what that lady said, iron something. She said something. Anyway. I'm just saying. But anyway, fam, I just jumped on here real quick because mainly, like I said, I want to clear that Nick Fuentes thing up. I know I needed to clean that up. I did not give a thumbs up to Nick Fuentes. That's not what it was for. Not. Only thing I said about Nick is, again, I'll say it again. Thing I like about Nick Fuentes is Nick is a truth teller. Nick said it point blank. I don't like you. I'm not going to try to like you. I'm not going to start to like you. Period, point blank. That is what black people like. So we can deal with Nicks. We can't deal with the ones who sit here and say, oh, yeah, you're my friend and you're great. And the minute you get behind closed doors, oh, did you see that Negro out there? That Negro think I'm going to do something for him. That Negro think I'm going to this and that Negro need to go back to the plantation. Those are the ones that we don't like. No. Anyway, fam, I am out of here. I am done. Again, I am waiting. I see Ryan Wilson and Lisa is out doing their, smiley face to outside of Hennepin County. So I'm just dying to wait to see how they're going to present Lisa to the Twin Cities, to Duluth, and to Rochester. That's going to be very interesting, how they think they're going to make that happen. We'll wait and see. Hey, fam, I'm out of here. I appreciate each and every one of you. What did Foot Jab say? Congresswoman Omar teaches a masterclass in convention of campaign funds. Oh, yeah. Oh, so I read, watch this here. Bill, I'm trying to think of his name. The Bill guy, you know, the guy that puts out all of that stuff. Bill was talking about Jamal Osman, that so Jamal got robbed, or whatever you want to call it, right? But Jamal got held up, carjacked, and he was in a rental car or something like that. I'm trying to find it. I want to make sure I get this right, because I know this Bill guy who always does all the he does a lot of the reporting and things of that sort. So Bill put out there that, where is it? I can't find it. But when I find it, I'll get it back out. When I find it, I'll get it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Bill, I got him right here. So what happened was Jamal Osman, right? He got carjacked. So he goes, well, I got carjacked, and come to find out, when he got carjacked, the car that he was using happens to be one that was rented by his campaign people, right? And then Bill pointed that point out, going, hey, how is it that you can be driving around after the election and here you are still driving around in a vehicle through, campaigns and things of that sort? Is that not right, or is that not? Well, I had to remind Bill that they don't do anything by the books anyway. So I guess Bill should know that he shouldn't be shocked with some of the crap that these people have pulled here, with all the fraud and everything that went down in Minneapolis. Do you think that they actually are going to pay attention and do something right when it comes to misuse of public funds? Really? Really? Y'all really thought that these people were going to actually do what's right? I got in the middle of Lake Minnetonka, I got a popsicle stand to sell somebody. If you believe that these people will actually play by the rules, actually do something right. Hell, in order to go against Mayor Fry, for Todd, goes get fishy as hell, and they want Marina investigated for a fraud campaign. Only thing I'm saying about the last part of what you just said, Chaz, I heard. That's all I got to say. That's all I got to say. Sometimes, Chaz, and you know as well as I do, brother, when we dealing with people, you got to know who you dealing with. You can't just go get in bed with somebody because they told you that they can do this or do that. There's times you got to make call after call after call, correct? In order to get to the bottom and the root of somebody that swears up and down you should. That's all I got to say about that, brother. That's all I got to say about that. Sometimes when somebody come up to you, just because everybody to come up to you and shake your hand and swear up and down they good, that don't mean they good. A snake can smile. It's just like we talked about earlier. I would rather know who you are than not to know and find out later. Not to know and find out later. And when somebody talk you into believing, number one, that you can win. Look at the number. No way in the world she was going to win. No way. Then she turns around and she links herself up with this here crooked scheming group for Todd, Dwayne, and Jazz. She put her name behind them people. Schemers, scammers, cheaters. And you expect something different from people who they give you to be on her team? That's why you keep your little circle small. I learned my lesson a long time ago. Long time ago. That's why people be like, well, Rev, who you with? I ain't with nobody. Ain't nobody can sit there and go, oh, Rev, I heard. No, you ain't heard shit. You ain't heard nothing. Not when it come to me. I keep my Chaz. I know Chaz. Before I even start messing with Chaz, right? Chaz was gonna hook up with Chaz. I put feelers out, and everybody's like, "You can't mess with him, Rev." And he know this. I ain't telling him something that he don't know. Everybody I turn to, even one of the people that he hang out with. Watch your back. No, I let people be who they are. If I treat you nice and then you stab me in the back, that's on you. That's not on me. I just know not to screw with you anymore. I know not to deal with you, to talk to you, to be around you anymore. But I guarantee you, there is not one person. I can promise you this. I can promise you this. Like if I'm sitting here and God is sitting next to me, there is nobody from my church, from the top of Lowry all the way to Broadway, from any black church that you go to or any white church that you can go to, and they will say that Rev said something about them that was bad, that Rev stabbed them in the back, or that I did something wrong to them. Nobody. I get people. Ask Chad. Chad tell you, I got people I hang out with that I had to. Chad tell you. Do call me up. Chaz this and Chaz that and Chaz this and Chaz that. And I said, look, that's not the Chaz I know. Right, Chaz? That's not the dude I know. Yeah, Chaz does stuff. He get on your nerves. But the dude you talking about isn't the one I know. I call Chaz up. Chad, I need you to talk to this dude. Y'all need to have a conversation because I believe if y'all two got together, y'all can make, he'll tell you. But what I'm saying, Chaz, is, again, sometimes when you hear stuff, Chaz, and you know this, it's funny when I talk to him because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you hear something, you better believe there's some fire behind it. Fire behind it. The only reason I ever know about stuff is because I know people who know people who know people who know people. And who call up and go, hey, didn't you do something for blah, blah, blah? Yeah. Do you know what's going on with blah, blah, blah? Really? Wow. Okay. This is the reason why I said, again, I go back to the top of the show when I start talking about Nick Fuentes. Just let me know who you are. And I'm good. So then we can both decide, okay, if I can't hang out with you and you can't hang out with me, you go your way, I go my way. You say you hate me, I say I hate you, but yet we can still talk and have conversation. Cool beans. Let's do that. But at least let me know who you are. See, I can't do that. I can't say I hate white people because then I'll be hating my stepdad. And if y'all know who my stepdad is, he's the whitest man from straight out of Boise, Idaho. My stepdad is the whitest man you ever want to meet. Been married to my stepdad, been married to my mom for 50 years. 50 years. Straight out of Memphis, Tennessee. Back in the days when my mom and my dad, my stepdad, got married 10 years outside of Loving. You know who Loving is? The people from Virginia, when a white man couldn't marry the black woman. My mom and dad met. My dad was a Marine. My stepdad is a Marine. My mom worked at a diner right there on Millington Base Road in Millington, Tennessee. That's why I say I was raised in Shelby County. And when my mom and dad started dating, they could not be in Millington, right? They could not be seen together. They could not be seen together. When they decided to get married, my father's parents, white people, from Boise, Idaho, would not go to his wedding because he was marrying a black woman. Watch this now. And people going, oh, well, that's wrong. Really? My grandmother and my grandfather would not go to the wedding, the black side of my family, because my mom was marrying a white man. True story. True story. Her sister and brother would not go to the wedding because she was marrying a white. True story. So that's why I sit and I tell people there's some black folks just as racist as white folks. So with me, no, I don't play that. That's why I keep telling y'all. I've been through this stuff. I was born in segregation. When I was born, my mom was not allowed to go to the top floor of the hospital. They were in the basement, all black kids. All these Negro kids was in there. On my birth certificate, it says Negro. I was the last group of black kids in John Gaston Hospital that came out with a birth certificate that said Negro. I was the last of us. That's what my birth certificate says. It don't say black. It don't say mixed. It don't say nothing but Negro. When my mom and dad brought me home from the hospital, they could not stop at a white gas station. They couldn't. They couldn't stop at a white store and buy formula or whatever they was doing. They couldn't. If they wanted to go to the movies and have me in a little basket, they had to go top floor. They wanted to eat, they had to go to the back door and ring the bell, and then people would give them their food and they can sit out on a lawn. So this stuff isn't far off, people. Y'all act like this was 150 years away. It wasn't. I'm 61 years old. When we moved to Jacksonville, North Carolina, in 1977, when we moved, 77, 78, my dad got stationed in Jacksonville, North Carolina, on the Camp Lejeune base. That's somewhat where I grew up. When we would leave the base and go into the town of Jacksonville, North Carolina, we would park at the back of the parking lot. And there was a lot of cars that used to be parked back there because there was a lot of black men and white men who were married to mixed race. And this is what we used to have to do. This is no joke. My dad would get and go into one side, and my mom, myself, and my two sisters and my brother, we would go into another side. We would get all the food from Piggly Wiggly or Roses. If you look back into Jacksonville, North Carolina, there used to be this store called Roses. It was like the big grocery store and everything. That's where we would go off base to shop. But we would have to go on one side, and then they'd have to go into the other side. My dad would have to go in the other side. And they would get whatever we needed, and then we would meet back at the car. Because in Jacksonville, North Carolina, you did not want to be seen. A black woman and a white man. Oh, you talking about hell. We were at the beach. We was at the Onslow Beach. Never forget this. Getting in the car. About to go home. These dudes came by and called my daddy, my stepfather, a white man, some of the most nastiest names you ever wanted to hear because he was with a black woman. That's a true story. Some of all the names. I watched my father, a Marine, a grown man. My father was a drill sergeant instructor. I watched this man go into his and make other men drop to the floor and cry. But when we left Boomtown, look up Boomtown. This is in the city of Jacksonville, North Carolina. And those dudes outside of that furniture store, the things they said to my dad, and my dad sat behind the wheel of his car, and I watched this man cry his eyes out. So when we talk about racism, when we talk about filthy, dirty, bigoted ass people, y'all talking to somebody who have seen it firsthand. So when I get on here and I say somebody's racist, you better believe I know what I'm talking about because I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it. I've seen their eyes. I've seen them when their lips curl up. When they was calling my stepfather, a white man, another white man is calling him some of the names that they was calling him. No. And this is 30 years ago, 34, 35 years ago this stuff went down. This isn't new. This didn't happen yesterday. No, but it's not far off, people. It's not far off. So I know what racism look like. I know what racist people look like. And you know, the thing about those white boys that was sitting there and they was calling my daddy, my stepfather, the names they was calling him, at least we knew who they were. Because there was other ones that, like he said, when he would go to work on the base and they labeled him certain names because they knew that he had black stepchildren and he was with a black woman. Or when he was on the basketball court or something like that, on the basketball court, and they would say certain things to him. So my stepfather went through it, all because he loved a black woman, all because this man took 4 black children and treated those black children the way he is. If not for him, I would not be the way that I am. And I'm going to hold on. Watch this. My oldest cousin is a female. She was hooked up in drugs. They broke into her house and they beat her. They beat her and her husband right there in Collierville, Tennessee, when she lived in Collierville. When she moved to Bartlett, they were still messing with the drugs, and they got in there and they got her at a car wash and they beat her up, all for drugs. My next cousin, who's older than I am, has been in and out of prison He is so institutionalized to the prison system that he cannot stay out of prison. Literally, he cannot stay out of prison. From the age of 20 years old, he's 2 years older than I am. He has been in and out. He has never had a full year that he has not been in prison. My next cousin, who is younger than I am, got caught up in gang activity. A gang was chasing this other boy. My cousin went up under the car because he saw him coming in. They pointed the guns under the car and they executed him under the car. They pulled his body from up under the car to get it to the hospital. Now, what I named you right there is a certain group of family members, my cousins, that I literally grew up in the same house with, in my grandmother's house. Those ones that I just talked about. Then I've got another set of cousins, right? That's my uncles, one of my uncle kids. That kid is on drugs. My other cousin, in and out of prison. I've got another cousin who got involved. Her daughter's is in prison right now because she ran a prostitution ring. She's in prison as we speak because she ran a prostitution ring. The point that I'm making, had my father, my stepfather, not got me out of Memphis, Tennessee, I would have been either dead, running a gang, or in prison. That would have been my life. If that white man had not have come along, married my black mother, pulled us out of the mud bottom ghettos of Millington and Memphis, Tennessee, because we stayed with my grandmother on my father's side, and then when my father, a black man, left my mother with 4 kids to go be with another woman with 3 kids, we bounced around literally every single year. We were either at my uncle's, we was at my grandmother's, we was at my other uncle's, or we was in a shelter. And then that's when my mom and my stepdad started dating. And the first time that I actually ate at a table, sat at a table, and had dinner, I was in the 6th grade. Because any other time, there was so many people in the house, you sat on the floor and ate. But if it was not for that white man, I would not be sitting here talking to you right now. That's a promise. Because the black man that's supposed to be my father, the one that walked away from my mother with 4 kids and a year and a half old, my brother, my youngest brother was a year and a half old at the time. And even when she was with my father was an alcoholic. My father, my biological father was hospitalized so much for alcoholism. They told him, true story, they told him that if you have another drink, you are going to die. By this time, we were in North Carolina. I literally hadn't talked to my biological father for 5 years. Hadn't heard from him, hadn't said a word to him, hadn't known nothing about him. And then my mom called me in the house and she says, "Your daddy died. He drank himself to death." That's how my biological father died. They didn't remember back in the day, they did not have hospitals. They did not have places you can go to get better. You had to get better on your own. When they told you to stop drinking, you have to stop drinking. My grandfather, his daddy, died from alcoholism. So people understand why I don't drink anymore, why I don't drink, why I stopped drinking, why I realized brown liquor and my family wasn't a good deal. No, brown liquor. We don't do brown liquor good. I don't. My daddy didn't, and my grandfather did not do brown liquor well. Brown liquor make us want to fight. So when my mother came in outside and called me in the house and sat me down and said, I want you to know your daddy died today. And I looked at her like, what did you call me in the house for? See, because this was a man who beat my mother. We were going down Raleigh Millington Road. My dad had just picked my mother up. 4 kids in the back seat. My dad picks my mother up. He's drunk. We're going down Raleigh Millington Road, right? So we used to live, my mom, like I told you, my mom worked in Millington, and you had to go down 51 Raleigh Millington Road in order to get to Beacon Hill, where at one point in time, we rented a house. So we're going down this here road. It's dark at night. My daddy gets into it with my mom. My daddy is driving. He opens the door, grabs my mom by the arm, and he's shoving her. So the door is open. We're going down the road. He's trying to shove my mom out the door. Another time, my daddy's beating my mom. My daddy had a .22 rifle. Because of my grandfather, I knew how to load it. I knew what to do with it. He's beating my mom. Okay, this can't go on for long. I go get the .22, come back in, point it at him, get away from my mom. Keep pointing it at him. He come after me. I run back because he's trying to grab the gun because he's thinking I'm not going to shoot. Or he thought it wasn't loaded. He finally leaves my mom because after he finished beating on her, he thought I was joking. So he leaves. And the reason I tell you this part because of what I'm about to tell you. One night he's beating my mom. Don't know what the heck's going on. He's got the door locked. He's beating my mom. I'm kicking on the door like crazy. Finally got the door open. Run in there, jump on top of my mom so he wouldn't hit her anymore. So my mom comes, gets me, and asks me to come in the house because she got something to tell me. So we go in the house. We sit down. She tells me my daddy died. I'm looking at her going, what did you come get me for? It's no feeling. I had no feelings for this man. So what is it gonna do? She comes, gets me, and says, well, they're gonna have the funeral on next Friday. And your stepdad, my stepdad now, and we were living in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina. He wants to drive you to Memphis, Tennessee. He'll go with you to Memphis, Tennessee, so you can be there because you're the oldest. And, you know, black people, I'm the oldest, so I'm supposed to go represent the family. I looked at my dad and said, I will never step foot in as long as I know. I ain't stepping foot back there to watch this man go into the ground. And it took me until I was 50 years old until I went through everything that I went through, till I was done drinking, until I found God, until I praised him, and I asked God to help me forgive this man for the wrong and what he has done, and because if it wasn't for him doing what he did, my mom would have never met my father, my stepfather, and I wouldn't be sitting where I'm at now. So my wife and I, when we went back to Memphis, and one of the reasons we went back there is because I wanted to find his grave. And I wanted to pray over his grave, and I wanted to tell him that I forgive him. And when I did that, that was one of the biggest burdens off my shoulder like you wouldn't believe. Because I had to forgive this man. I could walk around with this hate for him forever. Watch this here. My daddy had this Plymouth Impala. Beautiful old Plymouth Impala. That was supposed to be my car. When he died, everything he had was supposed to come to me. One of the things that I loved that he had was that Impala. Beautiful, beautiful Impala. They said, I don't want nothing this man has. He's never done nothing for me but give me life, and I thank him for that. But other than that, I didn't want the house. I didn't want the car. I didn't want the guns. I didn't want his insurance, his insurance from his work. Didn't want none of that. I got nothing from this man when he passed away. All of it, I willed it, every dime, every penny, everything else, whether a knife, they talk about, here's your daddy's favorite knife. I don't want it. I don't want nothing from this man. Give it to the people he called his children. And they split it up. They sold a car. They split that money up. His insurance money. They split all of that up. The car, the house, Nola still lives in that same house today. If I wanted to go to Memphis and see her, I could. But I wanted nothing from this man. Nothing. And then, like I said, I went back to Memphis, went down there to Shelby County, went there to the gravesite, and I prayed for him. And I told him I forgive him. And it took a year. I was a grown man by then. Anyway, that's my story. And I'm going to dig with it. So that's what I say, especially when it comes to racism and all this here type of stuff. I've seen it from both sides. I've seen racism from black people. I've seen racism from white people. Seen it. So when I talk about racism, can't sit there and go, "Oh, Rev, you don't know what you talk." Really? I seen white people be racist towards a white man. I mean, no. I seen white people be racist towards a white man. So you'll know I've seen racism. Anyway, fam, I got to get off this thing. I got to go. Oh. So here, watch this. One of the things that I've always told y'all, and I've always say to you all, please don't get into this healthcare system. Don't get yourself caught into whatever you do. Please, ma'am and sir, take care of yourself. I mean that. You don't want to get caught up in this healthcare system. Watch this. And I just learned this here today. I mean, not today. Just learned this a couple of days ago. So, if you've been following me enough, you know that I have kidney failure. My kidneys don't work, and I have to plug up at night. I've got a tube I would show you, but you'll be like, ooh, that's gross, Rev. But I literally have a tube in my stomach, right? I've got a tube that comes out of my stomach, and I have to plug up to this machine every single night because the machine does what my kidneys don't do, right? So I'm waiting for a kidney transplant, right? That's why I've been sick, right? There's times when I just get so sick it's not even funny. But at first I started off at Abbott. So I go to Abbott, I do everything they tell me to do. We go through all these here tests. Okay, great. We'll put you on the kidney transplant list. And then Abbott started having problems. So they decided we're going to drop the transplant list, the transplant kidney center at Abbott. And I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. So everybody who was over at Abbott had to be moved over to HCMC. So in order for you to get on the list, you have to go through the whole process, all the tests, all the poking and prodding on you, all the blood you got to give up. You got to go through this whole thing all over again. Okay. And then what happens is they have a board. They'll look at all the stuff that they've done to you, treated you like a mouse or a monkey, whichever one with the probing and all this here. And then they'll determine if you're going to be on their transplant list. Now, if you follow me, you saw me on the news like months ago, right? I was on the news months ago talking about, they interviewed me, talking about leaving Abbott to go over to HCMC. This is months ago. This is almost 6 months ago. So, but in the time being, while you're waiting for the for HCMC board to give you the okay that you can be on the transplant list, you're not on the list at all. So, for all of these months, if a kidney had to come clear, I wouldn't have gotten one. I wouldn't have gotten a call. So yesterday, they could have been somebody that died. And that kidney could have been ready for me. But because I'm not on this transplant list, because they took me off the transplant list, and because the board has not put me back on the transplant list, I don't get a kidney. Watch this. So we go through everything they say it was supposed to do. True story. I'm not kidding you. I can get my wife down here right now. So I go to forensic right there in Coon Rapids. And that's where I go every once in a while to get all my medicals and everything done. Or I'll go there and, I'll put in my 3 hours with them poking and prodding and messing with me, and I get sucked out. So I go there and I'm like, hey, have you heard anything about, again, months have passed, like months on months. Have you heard anything about me being on a transplant list? They said anything to you? Have the doctor said anything? And the lady goes, you know what? I have heard nothing. She said, let me call. True story. 2 days later, I get this phone call from HCMC. The lady at HCMC said this, word for word. Can I speak to Timmy Christopher? I said, this is he. She goes, I called to let you know that we will be turning your paperwork in. I go, wait a second. I said, this is almost 6-7 months. So I haven't been on the list for 7 months, 6-7 months. She goes, unfortunately, because of all the people who was coming over from Abbott, some of our files was misplaced. I said, so if I had not called you or had the people call, you telling me you wouldn't have even known? She goes, unfortunately, things got out of hand. Wow. Watch this. I'm not done. She goes, but I'm going to turn this into the board first thing tomorrow morning. I said, well, you know what? Well, thank you. I couldn't get mad. I mean, even though I'm on this side of the phone and I'm seething, I'm literally just there's so many things I want to say. I want to I wanted to get in that mode where when I used to hang with the devil, I said all those good words that y'all won't let me say anymore. I wanted to do that. So Tuesday go by, Wednesday go by, Thursday go by, Friday, the weekend go by. Monday morning, I get a call. She goes, I'm calling to speak with Mr. Christopher. I said, this is he. She said, Mr. Christopher, we're going to have you come in and take a couple more tests. She said, because the board reviewed your records and we found a cyst on one of your kidneys that isn't as bad as the other. A cyst. And I said, wait a second. I have not been in for almost a year for tests. What do you mean you found a cyst on my kidney? I don't understand that. Because I haven't even been to you guys for almost a year when I did those tests with you. She goes, yeah, this is from a test that you did in 2024, the beginning of 2024. I said, that's almost a year ago. And you just telling me, I'm not kidding, people. I say, you're calling me on a test I did a year ago that the board saw that I had a cyst on one of my kidneys, and now you're telling me I've got to wait to be on the kidney list until I go in and y'all take a look to see if there's this cyst, if it's cancerous that's on one of my. Are you kidding? Listen, people, I am not kidding you. I am not making this up. So I've got to wait until November to go in to get tested, to go through tests and an MRI on my kidneys so they take a look at these cysts that are growing on my kidneys. And they want to make sure with a biopsy that they are not cancerous. I'm not kidding you. They knew this a year ago. They knew this a year ago. They wrote it in my records. And nobody said a word about it until now. So watch this here. Hold on. I ain't done. This is what I'm telling you. So if the board deems that I'm too far gone with these cysts and they don't want to mess with them, I don't get a kidney. They will deny me a kidney. And as far as the cyst goes, they just there on dead kidneys. Unbelievable, right? And people and it's just like the lady I was talking to the other day. She looked at me, she goes, but how in the world, Rev, are you even keeping a smile on your face? How in the world are you walking around here like you're happy and everything is good? How? When I talk about God and what God has done for me and my understanding now of God, I don't say it just to say it. I don't talk about God just to talk about God. See, one of the things that you will never see me do, and you have never seen me do, I don't Bible beat nobody. You ain't never heard me come on here, and you have never heard in my church that I preached a sermon beating somebody over the head with the Bible. I'll give you the word. I'll tell you how good God has been to me. I'll tell you what he's done, and I believe where he's trying to take me on this here journey. But I'm not going to make you. And just like I told her, I went and got God. And people always say, I found Jesus. Jesus ain't never hid from nobody. That's what cracked me up when I hear people say that. I found Jesus. Jesus has never hid from nobody. Think about it. When was the first hide and seek? Adam and Eve. Did God not come and, Adam, where you at? What did Adam said? I'm hiding. It wasn't the other way around. Adam didn't go, well, I can't find God. And God was like, I was hiding. I didn't find Jesus because Jesus was never hiding from me. I just had to go to him. I had to give him my heart, my mind, my spirit, and my soul. So when people go from the story that I just told you, people, Rev, how in the world are you even happy, man? God has been good to me. I got a wife that I've been with for 38 years, 36 years, 37 years. I got 2 boys that are very successful. 3 grandkids that I love to death. And I got some really good friends all around me. I got my own house. I got my picket fence. I got my doggy, my Jordy. What else is there? It's going to be cold tomorrow when I go outside. It's going to be cold tonight when I get up and go take Jordy out. What else is there? I have, people say, oh, I want to achieve the American dream. You're looking at him. I got every gun that I ever wanted. Now, that's the American that's the American dream. I have every gun. So I got every gun that I wanted. What else? I never wanted a boat. I wanted a motorcycle. I couldn't buy a motorcycle. I always wanted a motorcycle, but it just couldn't pull that off. I had to bring up a family and make sure we had a house and a roof over our head and things of that sort. So I was never able. That's the only. If I go up there and God says, Rev, where did I fall short? You notice what I just said? Because everything is given to us by God. I'm just saying. I'd be like, dude, I wanted that crotch rocket. But I believe he kept that from me, especially when the time that I wanted a crotch rocket. Oh my God, I would have killed myself. I would have killed myself. I know it. So I think that's why God was like, nah. You're a fool. You're a flat out, no ifs, ands, but fool. Because I would have been drinking and swear up and down I can get home. Because I did it in my car. Tell you the truth. I did it in my car. Many nights I fell out. Now, hold on, listen. I fell out the door of the bar, got in my car. Because a lot of white people, y'all don't know, there used to be this club, this place called Sharks nightclub. I know I'm telling on myself. On East River Road. That's where all the black people used to go. All the black people. Boy, that place was... Shark was so packed on a Saturday night. You could not move. And then you go outside. And there was a line all the way down the backside of this parking lot. And they were still letting everybody in this place. And you talk, I could never understand why the fire marshal never showed up at that club. Oh my God. There was many nights I left Sharks nightclub and I was 12 shades to the wind. But see, this is when I used to live right there on 2729 North 3rd Street. I was really good. Only thing I had to do, I made a left out of the parking lot. I go up over the bridge to Lindale. I make a left on Lindale. So I make a left on Lindale, take Lindale to 26, make another left on 26, make a left on 3rd, and I was home. That's how easy it was for me to get home from the bar. Seriously. All I had to do was keep the wheel straight. That's it. All I had to do was keep the wheel straight. Because I only had a couple turns. Wasn't like I had to change lanes. It wasn't like I had nothing. Many nights I fell up out of there. So I understand why God did not give me a crotch rocket. Because he knew. He knew. No, he knew. Anyway, fam, I'm going to get out of here. I got a jet. Y'all have a good night. We will talk to you guys more than likely on Friday. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hey, so I put a list out there to help some families. Please, ma'am and sir, that is a Christmas list. If I need to reprint it or put it back out there for someone who said, hey, Rev, I didn't see that list. What can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I help these families? You can do it like that. Also, if you don't want to do it that way, if it's easier for you to do Amazon, Rach. Her name is Rach. And I got to get Rach. I've got to get in touch with her because the lady who I'm working with who's putting this on got with Rach, and I do believe she gave, I call her Rach, R-A-C-H. She's doing an Amazon thing for one of the families. So I've got to get in touch with her, and if it's easier for you to do an Amazon, get up with her, help her out. I got other ways to do it. If it's easier for you to send stuff to the church, hit me up. I'll give you the address to the church. You can send stuff to the church. If it's easier for you just to say, hey, Rev, I'm in Minnesota. Can you come pick this up? I have no problem with that. I can meet you anywhere and pick up whatever you got. So there's different ways you can help out, right? Different ways you can help out. But if you can help out in any way, shape, or form, I'll definitely appreciate it. I'm an hour over. I'm blaming y'all for that. So, again, fam, I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. And one of the things we always say is always keep a smile on your face, because you never know. Somebody can be in a bad situation, right? And plus, when you smile all the time, that tells everybody that you're happy, that God has been good to you and you've been good to God, and that's always a good thing. But we always say smile at somebody, so somebody smile back at you. Peace, fam. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you guys on Friday. Bye now.